Well, hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Ohio Business Spotlight, powered by Greg Fay Insurance. If you haven't talked to my man Greg Fay today, do so today. Best insurance rates in the world, brought to you by that guy. Greg, tell everybody who we got on the podcast today, a very special guest.
Well, go on, Tony, keep going on. You were saying all that good stuff, right? No, I'm kidding. Always humbled when you say that right there. We have Mrs. Leslie Moss, and you are going to be intrigued by her story because in a day and an age where the internet exists, she is in an industry and she is thriving. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about her. This is the embarrassing part right here, Leslie. Owner and visionary and founder of Shoppe Smitten. And all of the lady audience that we have already know all about you. She's the owner and the driving force for Shoppe Smitten, which is a beloved women's boutique currently located in Uptown Centerville in the coolest building right on the corner. She's a product of Centerville, born and raised, heavily influenced by entrepreneurial upbringing. Her parents owned dingleberries for all of you older not Southbrook, Centerville people that are watching. That was a well-known local store, and she's a proud alumni of Centerville High School, Miami University. She combined her passion for retail, her deep local roots, and a creative vision to build a thriving family-owned business, and it's what makes the community go. We are so happy that you are here today, Leslie.
Thank you so much, Greg and Tony.
Leslie, we love to kind of start right out of the gate. Your story is so interesting because you started in Springboro and then moved to Oakwood and then eventually found your home back in Centerville. And I think there's a lot of business owners who struggle to take risks like that, moving from one spot to another. You were 7 years in Springboro, killing it down there, but you needed more, and that kind of move, and then eventually you found your way home. So let me ask you this. In your years of managing this kind of movement and community that is Shoppe Smitten, how did you know when it was time to shift?
We're just jumping right into it. I love that because when it comes to risks, I'm very much like a opportunist. I just love change and just see, new ideas, and I'm so motivated to make them happen. So, there's always a time when you can feel like you're just, maxing out every square footage of space. There's a demand higher than what you're able to produce. And for me, I know like Springboro was fantastic. We were living there at the time. And the downtown area was so vibrant. Little space opened up. So first, actually, I was a full-time photographer, just a little bit of history there. And my photography business, after 10 years, I decided I'm just going to start selling some other products and see how it goes for my high school senior girls. And then it just took off and became this whole other brand. So we had just started in a little cottage, moved into a larger space. And then from there, I just knew I wanted to offer more besides just accessories and clothing. I could just see what was out there and what was available as a wholesaler. And I wanted to just continue to, sell more of what I loved. So we had added a home store directly across the street for a few years in Springboro. Then I'm like, I need everything all under one roof instead of having to pay, double staff and have people crossing Main Street all the time. So that's when we relocated to Oakwood. And then learned a lot from being down in Oakwood. But ultimately, I'm a Centerville girl and always wanted to be back home. So when our current space, when I saw that for rent building, I called right away and he said, I'll show it to you in 10 minutes. And I grabbed my husband and he didn't even know where we were going. And I said, we're going to go look at a building. And he thought I was pretty crazy, but it was home and it's been the best thing for us. So.
Well, I tell you, we talk a lot about culture on this podcast because so many business owners they have in their mind exactly what they want their company culture to be. They have in their head, and sometimes there's difficulty in getting that to translate when you have a team and you want your customers to feel every ounce of culture that you have developed in your head, I would go as far to say as you not only have developed an incredible culture, both with your employees and your clientele, you've developed somewhat of a cult in the fact that people are insanely passionate
Not people, Greg.
about.
Smitten kittens.
Yeah.
You nailed it. Nailed it.
Smitten kittens.
Oh my! Well, I tell you what, that is really cool to watch from a distance. You and I have worked together in business, and you've shared some intimate things with me about your business, some of your fears, some of your struggles, and those are real. I'm not taking away from those, but you have done an incredible job of pouring out the Leslie Moss Shoppe Smitten culture, not only to your clients, but to your team. What do you attribute that? How do you think that? What do you? I don't even realize if you that you've done so well at that. But what do you think one of the keys is? Because business owners watch this and they certainly want to have some of what you have. How have you done it?
I mean, one thing I always go back to is doing things with excellence and how that's contagious. And I feel like with my staff, I give them a lot of ownership, and I want them to feel very much like it's not just me coming in as a boss. We're friends. We're in this together. Everyone's helping make decisions when it comes to buying, and everyone's a part of the customer experience. So I feel like when you do things with excellence and you're constantly leveling up, it just makes it a place that people are, for me, my biggest thing is I want people to feel inspired and in awe when they step foot in the door, because I mean, literally from the moment you step in, there's just details everywhere, and I do obsess over every little detail, and I can tell when things are out of place. But I want people to walk in and feel like this is something truly special, and making it a destination place in our community when people are visiting town, and just being like a strong pulse, especially right there in the middle of Uptown, has been the perfect place for us. But even with my staff, I just had a big hire recently for my coordinator of our online experience. And I had so many incredible applicants. I didn't even interview all of them because after the first interview, I knew immediately she's a culture fit. And I did do another interview, and it was an amazing girl who I adore. But I just knew with that one, there's just this, energy and creativity that they bring to the table, this, being very personable. And I think that all just makes it part of the overall feeling and culture of our store.
One of the unique things about your brick and mortar store is that you have gone above and beyond, making sure that it has that certain feel and culture look to it. So you recently underdid a major overhaul paint wise, and in all of Uptown Centerville, has kind of been going through that process. There's risk in choosing Uptown Centerville, and I love Uptown. I can walk to your shop from where I live.
Cool.
And so I'm very close to the heart of Centerville, and I know that there are certain expenses that come with that.
Yes.
It's not free from its own expense, and it's an expense different than if you opened up a shop, 2 miles down the road south, right? Like there's some unique expenses that come. So why did it make sense for you to pay the tax? I'm going to use the word tax.
Yeah.
In sense of like moving to a spot like Uptown versus going to a shopping center.
Right. Well, even from the very beginning, when I had my little cottage in Springboro, it was part of the downtown. And I've always known wherever I'm going to be, I want to be part of in old downtown or just right in the heartbeat of where we're at. So even in Oakwood, we were in the shops of Oakwood. It's just kind of like the destination area of town. And I've even said before, I'm not a strip mall girl. It's just not what our store is. So even when we named it and I spelled it shop the old timey way, it's spelled that way intentionally because it's almost a reminder, like I'm always going to be a part of the, the little historic downtown or just right there, closely connected with the community. But speaking of paint, that has been, for anyone local watching, it has been such a transformation. I've dreamed of it since we got there. It's very interesting how I will prioritize my poor family. I'll prioritize spending money on the building I don't own. Meanwhile, we have so many projects at our own house that we do own that just get unfinished. But renovating the store, even though it's not my building and I'm renting it, it really, that's what is making us money. So it brings more people in. Actually, just yesterday, we had the interior ceiling painted in the store just to brighten it up even more. So it looks even more dreamy in there. But again, everything I can to make the products pop and make people walk in and feel amazed. It's been worth it. And our little place in Uptown, there is a tax. I mean, it's an old building. It's historic, probably haunted. We have leaks, every so often and things that happen. But it's still worth it because it's such a unique, intriguing space, really.
Well, I tell you, any business owner that has paid attention is begging me to ask you this question here. One of the things that I notice is you hired someone to create the online experience, and I love how excited you are about the hire. I think business owners that make investments in people by hiring people, I think they should be wildly excited about it, and you obviously are. But your online experience has been pretty vibrant now for quite a while. And I know Tony and I get this question a lot. Okay, how do I tastefully promote my business where people are not going to get tired of it? And Stacy calls it, I'm worried that people get Greg Fay fatigue. I see where she's coming from because I know I can be a lot, but I don't feel I'm on Facebook and Instagram as much as anybody. I don't feel Shoppe Smitten fatigue, and I'm not even your target client. I know I have 3 daughters, and I know I have a wife who shopped with you, but how do you keep that alive? Because there's so many business owners out there that recognize that social media can be such an incredible place to be and to promote what they do, but they struggle with it. What has been the key to your success? Because it has been success.
Yeah. I want to say authenticity for one. I tell my girls all the time, we're going to follow trends when it comes to apparel that we sell, but I'm not going to follow every social media trend. I feel like so many things are just overdone or they're cringy. And I've told them I'm not dancing on the internet. I'm not lip syncing something. I know people do it, but I just feel like I want to stay true to myself and who we are as a brand. And I want to highlight what we sell, and I want to bring that personal aspect into the business and to what we put out there. But I just want it to feel fresh all the time. So we haven't nailed it, but I know that we put a lot of work into it, and, we want to be relevant, but we also want to be set apart, I think would be a big part of it.
One of the things that I'm always interested about when someone owns a business that their number one job is to pick products that they think that their target audience would find appealing. So essentially, you're a personal shopper for an entire tribe of women.
It's so fun.
It's so fun. It's so fun. And you look like you're having fun. Now, here's the question that I'm always curious about is knowing what cool is, right? Like knowing what looks cool, knowing what is cool. Guys like Greg and I get this wrong all the time. And then other people like you seem to get it right every time. How do we as business owners begin to learn what's cool, and then how do we know when to lean into that versus like, do you think it's something that can be trained? Is it a muscle, or is it more just maybe you're born with it?
I mean, I want to say I'm born with natural coolness. No, really, I think for me, it's surrounding yourself with the right people too. Because I think with my team, I have some younger girls that work for me, but I really want to have something for everyone. So I fear as I get, I'm mid 40s now, I don't want to turn into an old lady boutique. There's so many places that everyone knows in town, like they can kind of, unfortunately, stereotype different stores. And I've got young girls that work for me that are in their mid 20s, but then also, I have my mom and older women. I've got people from high school up to, seniors that shop in my store, and they all buy apparel at my store. One of my pet peeves is when people walk in and they dismiss us right away and say, "Oh, I'll have to bring my granddaughter back." And I'm like, "No, like look harder. I promise there's, something for everyone here." But, I know we're not a store for everyone, and not everyone has the same taste as me, but I really feel like bringing in items that are, yes, cool, but very unique. And I do need to lean into this with with online shopping right now. I need our online experience to be done with excellence and to be a great shopping experience with ease, because it is near impossible for a small business to compete with the Amazons and those type of sites. I never consider Amazon to be my competition. There's no way. It's, I am a very small business and I can deliver exceptional customer service. But it's not going to look the same way as, they have a different model of business. And if I'm selling the same things that you can find on Amazon, then I'm immediately going to fail, because you can't beat the prices and, their margins and so forth. So for me, I feel like it is finding unique things, but also, knowing that like I need to do things very differently than Amazon and so forth.
Well, I tell you, business owners tell Tony and I, ones that watch this podcast, they always, and they couch it different ways, so it comes across in different comments or questions, but it all really leans back to all of these business owners that you have on all seem to have it totally together. They haven't experienced any bumps or bruises. They haven't had a struggle. They make it look easy. So I always like to interject the question, what's went wrong in the evolution of Shoppe Smitten? There has to have been some things that have jumped out of the bushes at you that you didn't see coming, that really rocked your world. May have even, we've had business owners say, I thought this one was going to put me in the ground.
Yeah.
And here you are thriving. What are some of those things that have gone wrong that you've navigated that some other business owner might learn from you today?
Yeah, there's been a lot. It's actually been extremely hard. So now I feel like we're finally in this just growth season after, we're going into our 11th year. But I've always been very transparent with where we're at. I never want to communicate a sob story, online either. So there was always that fine line of please, there was moments where we're like, please support us. But, I didn't want it to also, yeah, I don't want to depress people. But some of the smaller bumps, I'd say early on, we added, I'm sorry, I'm on my husband's computer. I don't know if you can hear these notifications. I don't know how to get rid of it.
It's fine. Just keep going. You're doing great.
So, early on, we added a second location down in Cincinnati, and that's when I had a business partner at the time who I love dearly. But we went into an area where we thought there was going to be the right demographic. And long story short, we were there for a year, and it just wasn't worth the time away from our families while our kids were young to make that drive down into an area where we didn't have the brand recognition. So we tried it. But that was, not the right timing or place or location even for that. But then the biggest thing would be when I moved to Oakwood, it was a large space, large overhead, but I also had two managers at the time, and I had them on salary. And I just, at the end of the day, I was overpaying them. Even they were my best friends, so you also want the best for them. You believe in their value and what they're worth. But then it got to a point where I'm like, this is not working. We do have customers coming in the door, but it just never, whatever we were bringing in was never enough. And our debts were rising. I still, even though things are smooth, I still every day am just chipping away at things from the past, which, no one likes that feeling. It's part of life, but, there's always just things where, you're like, yes, I'll take out that loan to make this happen, or to, pay for our Christmas, or to pay for, a new location kind of thing. Last year we had the best holiday season ever. I didn't take out any loans for that. We're just finally in a place where we're, profiting. But at the time, yeah, it was very hard. It was to the point where I was starting to look for something else to do, because in Oakwood, I just knew that I'm paying my people, I'm making sure they're taken care of, but then I wasn't taking care of myself or my own family. So when it came time to, write paychecks and write the rent, there was never enough left for me. And I was the one, feeling that. And then my family feels that. And then it puts personal things in our life in jeopardy. And it was a very steep and ugly, just decline there for a while. So, I did have to cut hours for my team. So yeah, it was hard, but I finally got to that point where, after, getting some sound financial advice, I realized I have to make a change, and I have to do it now, because, you get to a point where it was looking very, very ugly there for a while. So when I found the Centerville location, it was interesting timing, because when I mentioned, I grabbed my husband, I said, we have to go. And he was like, I thought you were going to become a realtor or something. Why are we looking at another building? And 'cause I was like, what am I going to do with my life? I've never had to just come up with a new idea. Everything has just evolved, and, working with students turned into taking their senior photos turned into the shop. Everything's beautifully evolved and woven in, with one another. But just kind of feeling this end was coming, I didn't know what was next. So I was just pursuing, not starting to look into other avenues. But then when I found that building, I'm like, no, I just know this is it. This is home. And it literally has changed everything for us. So, but it's been dicey from time to time.
Certainly, we appreciate the vulnerability. And
Yeah.
I think that anyone who's kind of gets to know you, one of the things I hear over and over again is what a big heart you have.
Oh,
And that was never more prevalent than in a recent kind of Facebook post about some shoplifting, right? Which is a terrible thing, and it involves some young people, and there was a lot of things happening there that was very interesting. And so one of the questions that I have is about, when do you know to lead with your heart, and when do you know to lead with the P&L? And both parts are important, and they're critical. So much of your brand is the heart. So much of your existence is the P&L. Talk to me about how you manage that tension.
I have a history of working with students. I did that all through my 20s. I'm a mother now, and for me, I feel like that has just always come first. What the girls had shoplifted, which everything was resolved beautifully in the end, and items were returned and paid for, and it was just positive in every way imaginable, which was so great. I don't feel like it was ever a question, even knowing that it was over $600, it would be a hit, but not a hit that we couldn't sustain. So it was never about the financial loss for me, to be honest. As much as it stings, I really just felt like I felt for the girls and wanted to, I just felt like I don't even know if I left a lasting impact. I sure hope I did. I just know some of the greatest life lessons and most influential moments in my life were learned through someone showing me grace. And when you receive something you don't expect, when someone walks in the door and they think they're going to be shamed and told never to come back again, and then for those girls to be entering high school already with a criminal record. That is just not what I wanted for them. I really hoped that I could reach their hearts. And, I didn't want to be a store that, sure, everyone can steal from me and you're just going to get away from it. Get away with it. It's not that at all. But, I invited a police officer into one conversation, where I thought it might be a little more difficult. But for me, it's about the heart. It's about, um, trying to be an influence even to customers. I didn't know these girls, but really wanting the best for everyone who steps foot in my store.
That's a beautiful story. I've had the delight of you impacting my oldest daughter's life, and it doesn't surprise me. I golf with your husband, so he kind of shared some of the details with me, and it really is a beautiful story that started to be a broken story,
Mm-hmm.
and it really came. It couldn't have turned out any better. I'm so happy about that. As we wind up, I like to steal something from ultra successful people, and Ryan Hawk has a part of this podcast where he talks about we're going to be celebrating something in a year, and we're gonna be sitting around and celebrating whatever way you want to celebrate, whether it's popping bottles on champagne or whatever it is. What is it that we're going to be celebrating a year from now? What do you see in your future that's celebration worthy?
I love that question. It's harder than you think too. Um, so we are about to add a little warehouse space that's off-site just because we have no storage at our store. We get shipments in and they pile up by the door and then it kind of makes a mess and I just need creative space. We also really want our online store to grow even more. We put so much work into making it beautiful and great quality photography and all that, but um are still the brick and mortar store, people walking foot in the shop is what makes us the majority of our money. So I really want to see in a year the online experience to grow. I don't do paid ads. I need to. There's just a whole other world that I need to really hone in on more. Some of the techie stuff, which is not, I'd rather creatively make displays in the store and be hands-on than doing hashtags and SEO and all those things that it's what you hire people for, right? So, but in a year, I'm hoping to see a huge increase in our online store because of the amount of work that we put into it. And now we're having this warehouse, we'll have more space for back stock and photography and, shipping center. So, just a small little space that's up the road, but I think it's going to give us some breathing room to work with, and then we'll be able to take things to the next level. So hopefully increased sales, and it'll be online is popping, in stores popping, and we just have a good flow going there. And it's 11 years this fall, so we'll be entering our 12th year next year. So that's something to celebrate too as a small business.
I love it. I love it so much. Okay, the last question we love to ask people, it's the hardest question. Before I do, I know that people are going to find you online. Don't forget to check out their online experience, shoppesmitten.com. That's 2 P's, SHOPPE, Smitten, SMITTEN.com, shopsmitten.com. You can go and order there today. It's really well done. All right, Leslie, the last question we love to ask people, the hardest question, are who are 1 or 2 business owners that you know in the Centerville community that we need to have on the podcast?
Oh, okay. Great question. I feel like Greg, I feel like I sent you something already, but I could be wrong. First person that comes to mind, because I love their product in both of their places, would be Earl and Megan from Power Plant Juice and Felicity. They own both of those businesses. I'm not sure if they've been on before, but they are lovely people, and they're also doing a lot to create unique experiences in Centerville. And then also my dear friend Katie with Katie Lico. Oh, we didn't mention this. I partner with her. The upstairs of our store is an entire Centerville spirit wear store. It's still part of Shoppe Smitten, but branded very differently. So she makes a lot of the apparel for that, and she is growing so quickly to the
She's
point where
crushing it right now. I see her
she's
everywhere.
crushing it. Yes. So, I am her like retail. She doesn't have a retail store, so I sell her products. Plus, some other makers contribute to our upstairs, which we call City Supply Centerville. But Katie would be a great person to have on because she's crushing it, and she is just a powerhouse of a businesswoman these days and a creative as well. So.
I love it. Leslie, thank you so much for the time today, for your generosity. And thank you for taking the time to listen. If you are on our YouTube page, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And every single week, we do our very best to bring you some really good, high quality entrepreneurship and business quality content to make sure that you can lead your business in the best way possible. Because we all know this truth. So goes the small business, so goes the community. So thank you for supporting small businesses. And until next time, thanks for coming to the Ohio Business Spotlight.